can't progress as a human, in my opinion. Like, you can't actually develop as a human. You can't learn, you can't love, you can't do all those things unless you're safe first.
Yes.
So creating a safe environment is pretty important.
All right, g'day gang. Welcome back to another Sauna Sessions with Shea. In the sauna today, we've got Bren Arkinstall. How are you, Bren?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, mate. It's now, Bren and I, we've known each other for many, many years. There was probably a 25-year hiatus?
Yeah, I reckon it'd be about 25. But I reckon we'd probably go back, 40 years if you think about Mrs. Jensen's class.
We were just talking about grade one. We were in grade one together. Bren was 3 times as big as every kid in the class. And I'm like, what am I walking into here? Do I need to wear neutral gang colours? Like, this is... or get to know that guy really well, okay? Because,
little did you know, mate, I was a gentle giant, I think. Yes, I was. I was a man-child. Well, for sure.
But then you went to St. Pat's in, year 8?
Yeah, left at the end of year 8.
Yep. Yeah, and that was, I was saying to you, I remember you actually come up to me and saying, I'm moving. I'm like, fuck, that was a bad day. Because we'd been mates and we'd been in the same classes for so many years. And so we got to know each other really well.
Yeah, it was hard moving schools. I had a lot of good friends. But in the end, it was good because I got to meet a whole bunch of new folk and, good to reconnect with you. So
that's it. Well, the power of Facebook and, all these other social
that's true.
platforms is actually, it's weird who comes back into your life,
Yeah, that's true, mate. Yeah, but it is, isn't it? And it's like, I guess, I remember when MySpace came out and it was like, we were traveling at the time and I had a MySpace page and it was such an easier way for everyone to stay in contact with each other. Yeah, for sure. And whilst I don't use social media that actively or whatever, it's good to see what everyone's up to. It has some positives.
Do you fight with it? Because I know I do, because I would prefer to sit with you, have a beer, have a chat and have a laugh and connect. I'm finding that there's a massive disconnect by being on these bloody things, and you just see a lot of kids out there, just iPad times through the roof.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you fight with, how powerful it can be for business?
Yeah, if I didn't use it for work, I don't think I'd be on it. In terms of social media. But again, I don't know. Sorry,
you're right, mate.
I don't know. I don't know if I battle with it yet. I've got 2 young kids, and I reckon I'm aware of it. And I'm aware of the dangers of it. But I don't know whether I sort of I don't spend a lot of time on social media. So I don't find I'm battling with it, but I know the dangers of it. Maybe that's why I keep it at arm's length.
For sure. Have you got rules around the house when it comes to social media or screen time?
Well, we don't do sort of screen time during the week. So sort of we let the kids do, not what they want on the weekends, but they've got a bit more freedom to make their own decisions. And hopefully they'll get bored with it, hopefully they'll pick up that doing other things is more exciting. And I guess that's a responsibility, right, of yourself, is to go, what am I doing that's actually going to entice them away from that screen? Because if I'm not presenting something that's more interesting than, old mate with the YouTube clips jumping off a, shopping trolley, then then my kids are probably going to want to stay on that device. So we try and get out and, take the dog for a walk or whatever. Our kids generally all jump at that, even bike rides or whatever, that sort of stuff. So we haven't, but look, my kids are 9 and 7. Yeah. I'll come back to me in 5 years, mate, and I'll tell you how I'm going.
When you were growing up, did you, in your household, was there no TV from, you got home from school, you may be able to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something.
Yeah.
And then homework.
The afternoon show with James Valentine or something like that.
Oh, shit, that takes me back, hey? But that was there was no TV, and you'd sit down and you'd have a meal and you'd talk about your day.
Yeah, well, in the afternoons we'd get home, and we were lucky, and we were talking about this as well. I used to live in a street where there was lots of kids from our neighbourhood, and I don't remember there being many rules around. As long as I was out with the other kids from the neighbourhood, I just remember Mum yelling out, going, it's dinner time. We just go out and play soccer, and I'd definitely come home and watch a few shows and stuff. I had 2 older brothers, 10 and 12 years older, and by the time Mum and Dad got to me, I don't reckon the discipline was as high on the agenda. But in saying that, I just I don't have any vivid memories of strong rules or that sort of stuff.
Were you made to go to church, or did you want to go to church?
No, it wasn't really our thing at our place. Like mum and dad. I mean, look, I went to a Catholic school, so I think I probably got enough there. Mum and dad were always like, they allowed me to make that choice. I think. And so I never disengaged with it. I never had a problem with it, and I quite enjoyed elements of learning about it. But I think Mum and Dad were never real big on it.
I remember the day Mum said, "Do you guys want to go to church?" And we're like, "Nah." No, that was it.
Yeah,
like we're literally 12 or something. Yeah, I was like, done with church. You know.
Yeah. I think I got my fill at school. Like we were always in something, or there'd be like a chapel service, or there'd be whatever. So I think Mum and Dad were satisfied with that I was getting some guidance.
Do you remember Brother Urban?
I do.
Yeah. He was like the most religious guy I've ever met. I remember him actually coming down on some kid and he went outside and did 12 Hail Marys and, you know. He was so religious.
Yeah. You know? And now you look back at it, don't you? And it was sort of, it did have a bit of an alternate universe feel to it in a way.
Yeah.
And you never really made that connection because you just went to school and you did what you did.
That's it.
You know, and you did as you're told.
Yep.
And, you know, so it never really, that side of it I always found a little bit odd, like doing the 12 Hail Marys. Is that really going to help him?
Yeah.
You know, and my kids go to a Catholic school now, and so I hope things are a little bit more progressive than Brother Urban. But
the other one's Father Jack. I don't know if you remember him. He used to smoke like a chimney and drink like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't remember Father
But the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
He's always had a dab in his mouth.
Yeah. No, I don't remember. I just remember the brothers at the old school we went to.
Yep.
You know, the brothers had the little house sort of over the back, but I don't remember a lot of it.
Did you ever go visit the house?
No.
I went there once and I opened the fridge door and there was like lemonade and Fanta and Coke. It's like, these guys aren't getting nutritious meals.
No, that's it, mate.
But it was like for people that visited, there was always like a can of drink of some sort. Yeah,
no, never.
Just sort of strange.
Never got called up.
Yeah, it's the brother's house. Jeez. Now, mate, look, one of the main reasons we've got you here today is we want to talk about the Edmund Rice Foundation. So you're the CEO of this foundation. What this foundation does is it helps to educate the less fortunate throughout Australia, Africa, and various other countries. You're partnering with over 21 projects. You're directly helping over 50,000 people, and there's more than $3 million has been dispersed to help educate the less fortunate. I was just thinking, this is how my brain works, mate. I was like looking at some of these stats and I thought, you'd go no good on Tinder, mate. It's a good thing that you're married. Yes. Because imagine if these things are on the Tinder profile and Brittany said, hey, come check this out. Look at this douchebag. Hey, he's got all these things going on.
There's plenty of other reasons why I can't make good on Tinder, to be honest, Shea.
Swipe left, you know? Yeah. I was like, no, seriously, I've done all these things, you know? Yeah. It's like, get out now. I was like, but this is my house. I was like, I actually do all this stuff. Yeah. So, mate, that is one hell of a resume there. Yeah. How did you come into existence with the Rice Foundation? How did that all evolve?
So I got into, like after school, like we did some event management. I did sort of odds and ends jobs. I travelled with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, back in 2006. And when I came home from overseas, I just remember thinking I need to get myself a steady job. Yeah. And I took a job with a little charity, Muscular Dystrophy Queensland, doing fundraising and events, and I think I just fell in love with that sector. I didn't actually know that jobs in that sector even existed, or that you could spend your days, you know, like not necessarily helping others, but doing something that gave you a level of satisfaction that was outside of just a regular day of work.
That's a good point. You always felt like someone out there was doing that stuff. It was never in your backyard. Right. You know?
I remember reading the job ad, and I remember sort of looking at what they were looking for and thinking, I've got all those bits. I think I could probably do that. I don't know, you know, and
the other thing I saw, you were doing some development with boys' grammar or the schools?
Yeah, so I worked for BBC. So I worked at Muscular Dystrophy for about 4 or 5 years doing fundraising, and then took a job with BBC at Toowong doing fundraising for the school. So, you know, you would sort of work with the parent community, the staff, the students, and the old boys of the school to try and generate revenue for all sorts of different things. And I guess that one was a real eye-opener for me. Just how generous people are, how much money's out there, and what you can do if you can harness that properly. And
did you find you always had this calling to help people? or it came?
I don't know. I mean, I do feel really lucky that I get to do that sort of stuff for a job.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that I felt a calling or anything like that. I think it just suited me that.
Yeah,
and I felt at home doing that for work, and I wasn't like you and I were just talking about it before. I can talk underwater with a bar of soap in my mouth, and I enjoy a good conversation. And I think a lot of the stuff that I'm doing for work is just it's relationship based, and to find jobs that are relationship based isn't always easy.
No,
and then to be fortunate enough to do it in a way that you're helping others, then
it's a bonus.
It is a bonus.
Yeah.
So I was at BBC for a few years, and then we went down to Melbourne, and I worked at a big school down in Melbourne called Caulfield Grammar School, and then and doing sort of fundraising for scholarships and bursaries, and sort of help them set up their foundation for them at the school.
Yep.
And then got asked to sort of apply for the role at Edmund Rice.
Yeah.
And St Pat's, where I left, to go to St Pat's after DLR, where you and I went to school together. It's an Eddie Rice school, and so
there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's sort of. I think that probably helped, to be honest, on the CV to say that I'd been at Edmund Rice School, and so. Mate, took the job there 7 years ago, and the
rest is history. Yeah.
It's been a steep learning curve, though.
Oh man, so you've gone. There's some photos of you over in Africa, helping. There's obviously you've got some people set up over there to get things moving.
Yeah, so we set up an office just prior to COVID. We set up an office in Kenya. About 50% of our funds go to Kenya. So every year we distribute about $3 million.
Okay.
We raise the money here in Australia, and then we sort of work with local partners on the ground in those countries that you mentioned. So we do some work in East Timor, we do some work in the Philippines, and locally here in Australia as well.
Okay.
But generally, 50% of the work is in Africa and East Africa specifically. So Kenya, we set up an office there, and mate, it's amazing. The people over there that we work with are, they're skilled, they're smart, they're savvy, they're driven.
Yep.
And what $1 in Australia does in Africa is very different than what $1 does here, because the economy's in a different situation, and you're sort of constantly reminded just how lucky we are to live in this country, mate.
Well, you've obviously done a bit of travel too, haven't you? You've travelled the world, and do you always come back, touch down in Australia, and feel very grateful that we live where we do?
Yeah, I think the one thing that's come out of this job more than anything is probably gratitude, and without sounding like a I don't preach to anyone about it, because everyone's got their own stuff, and everyone's got their own issues, and life is a complex beast, and it's bloody hard sometimes. But for me, the reminder of when I get to go and spend time with people that are a lot less fortunate, and you sort of, I was really surprised the first time I went to Africa. I think I expected people to be unhappy. I expected people to be in a state of despair almost, because their lot was worse, and they had, they didn't have access to certain things, or they didn't have funding, or, and health might be an issue, etc. I just couldn't have been more wrong.
It's the opposite.
Life is simple, and I think in some ways that simplicity and spending time with your family and sharing a meal together or whatever it is, it brings a greater significance, and they don't have as much. They don't have as many inputs. There's not iPads. There's not as much. Obviously that stuff exists, but and I think that simplicity is something we've all lost. And I'm not, as I say, I know all this stuff and I say this, but you don't always practice what you preach. You can sort of.
Well, I was watching some of your videos, mate, and you can feel the happiness through the bloody the monitor.
Yeah,
there's this, and there's singing, there's this joyousness, but it's not put on. It's real.
It is. And mate, you're right. I think that joy. So you come home after that. One, yes, I feel a sense of deep gratitude for having what I have, but two, you feel energised about it. And when you touch down in Australia, I tell you what, it's pretty good. The weather's good. The access to education. If I need to send my kids to a doctor, I can. And all those things that we sort of take for granted. I guess this job's given me that opportunity to go, hey, I should be grateful, and I'm happy that I've got that.
I wanted to set up a Facebook page called First World Problems because I was making bolognese the other night, and it's like trying to take the Legos, the top off Legos.
Yes, they do make those hard.
So hard.
It's true. Yeah, I often stab the knife in and just sort of reef it out that way and get sauce everywhere.
That would be the first post. How do you get those Legos to, but First World Problems.
I joined that group, mate, and I'd have a few as well, for sure.
But mate, what's the process once you get over there? Because it's mainly its primary cause is education.
Yeah, so we focus on education, and I guess education can look really differently in all sorts of different ways. Like I think the thing that I really relate to with the work we do is that it's focused on people owning their own solutions. So it's not because you and I could go over to Africa tomorrow and we could give out some cash, but then that person that we're giving that cash to is in the same position tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
So for us, it's about actually finding what skills might be available to those human beings, what access they've got to their resources.
It's like lotto winners. Was it 95% of lotto winners go straight back to where they are? They don't know what to do with it.
No, that's it, mate. And so I think it's about finding those sustainable solutions. But the only way you can do that, in my opinion, is to actually allow people to own that solution and to feel bought into that solution and to try and find something that's going to be sustainable for them. So we had some farmers in East Timor in a community up there that were, really struggling to make ends meet with their coffee farming. Yep. And so we set up a vanilla farming project where we taught a couple of farmers, literally 2 farmers, how to propagate vanilla. And vanilla is a much more lucrative crop than coffee. Yep. Takes a little while to get rolling, but once it's rolling, it can actually bring in a lot more money than a coffee. So these 2 farmers in a place called Rilako, right up in the hills in East Timor behind Dili, now there's about 600 farmers. Yeah, they've trained other farmers because the Timorese they're happy to share ideas, and it's sort of it's part of their culture that they share. Yep. And so those 600 farmers now know how to grow vanilla. They've got a secondary crop. Okay. And whilst they're not driving around in Porsches up there, but they do have enough money to put food on the table and send their kids to school and make those decisions themselves, right? They own that solution. And so we're not needed anymore. We step away from that. And so that's actually success is when we're not there. So it's kind of, that makes sense to me.
You're spot on. If you just throw money at people, it's like putting a bandaid on a broken leg, isn't it? Like, it's not really sorting the problem.
I think we could learn a lot of that here in Australia as well. But every country's got its own complexities. Yep. And I think it's about actually just sitting and taking the time to listen and understand what people want to do. Yeah. Because if I go in and go, hey, let's build a school. Yeah. Well, there's a heap of schools sitting up in East Timor that have been built that they can't afford to pay any teachers, so they just sit there. And it's not the solution. Yep. So I think it's about actually knowing what people want, what they're prepared to do, and then working with them on that,
I've always had a theory that everyone has got something. It doesn't matter, because I've got a few family members that are even there's schizophrenia in our family, and there's mental illness, but I've always been under the feeling that everyone has. You watch Forrest Gump, the way he puts a bloody gun together. Yeah, some people are very well led. Yeah. Or
that's right, mate.
And it's just finding that out. And in some ways, when we were putting classrooms, we were all just thrown in there. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know about you. Did you really like school? I tolerated it, but it was I was a square peg in a round hole. Yeah. In so many respects.
I didn't mind school, to be honest. I didn't find school that hard. No. And I look back at that and think probably had a lot to do with, the family, my mum was very always upbeat, always positive, always filling me with a bit of, false confidence probably, to be honest, when I look back at it now. But so I think I just jumped into whatever I was doing. And I was always reasonable at school. I never had too many issues with doing schoolwork. So I think these days, if you've got a difficulty in learning a certain way or whatever, I think, it could be really tough.
Yeah.
You know, like I actually do look back at it and think I was pretty lucky to be able to just go in and not sort of and I always was a glass half full kind of guy, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, school was kind of fun, and I just played a lot of sport. Like just been into everything, like just having a go at everything. And so when I look back at it, and I'm sure if I could go back and talk to 14 or 15-year-old Bren, maybe give a different answer. But when I look back at it now on the whole, I think I enjoyed it, and I met some great people.
Oh, mate, I think that's why even though we haven't seen each other for 30 years, I think he said 35 years, and I thought, fuck, he's right. It's like it was it's been a while.
Well, we would have been, like, what are we? We're 45.
Yeah.
We would have been 5 or 6.
You're a 78 baby?
I'm a 79er.
79, I'm 78, yeah. Mum kept me home a year because I was struggling through preschool.
She just loved having you, mate. That's all it was.
Well,
she loved having you.
I was a December baby, so there was a thing back then that
I was February, so it's only 3 months in it.
Yeah,
but that's like if we were 5 or 6, that's 40 years ago that we walked into Mrs. Jensen's, and you know. Yeah, as you said, I think we were in every class together apart from year 3 all the way up to year 7. So that's
crazy.
Uncanny.
But it was sort of like it's almost like when I do see you, we just pick up from where we left off.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like there's some people you've got that, and it's even going to music festivals.
Yes.
And your type of music is my type of music. You know, they're on the same page.
Yes.
So we were listening to Soulfly, my brother. Ben's one of those guys who go, hey, listen to Pearl Jam before they were Pearl Jam.
Yes.
You know? And so he's like really educated on, loves his music.
So great, yeah.
But Soulfly is one of those bands that just like goes through you.
Yeah.
And then here's Bren, 3 feet in front of me. So
no, mate, and that was it was great that you came over and said g'day. But look, I love music. Yeah. I absolutely love it, and always have listened to, I don't know whether my taste back in the early days was well, I don't know whether it's good now, to be honest. Some of the way that my kids look at me when I put on some songs, but mate, I love it. I remember
fighting with because I just watched this really awesome doco on Bon Jovi, right? And through 8 and 9, I was loving Bon Jovi, but the grunge Nirvana was like huge, mate. And I'm like living on a prayer, but also smelling Teen Spirit, you know. And I'm like, but Bon Jovi was commercial. And so grunge was like, we started speaking to our parents differently because of Nirvana,
Yeah, that's right.
Or our teachers. It's like, oh, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want.
And just even like, I look back and think about how influential and how lucky we were. Like I was looking at it the other day, there was like, within the space of a matter of weeks, it was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Nirvana, Nevermind, Pearl Jam 10, and another album that's not coming to my mind at the moment, but all within weeks of each other. And I thought, they were so pivotal. Well, for me, I spent a lot of time travelling because I went to St. Pat's over the Hornybrook, and the bus ride home from there was about 45 minutes long, and so I'd usually be able to do an album.
Throw the Walkman in.
The Walkman, mate. Well, I think maybe do we have a Discman? Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. But I loved the mixtape, and music's still big for me. Like I listen to a heap of music all the time.
Do you remember your first CD?
It was Singles.
Singles,
the movie soundtrack, because it had like these rare sort of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden tracks. I think like my first cassette though was Cocktail, the Cocktail.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
And I still
that would have
had a bit of Kokomo.
Kokomo, yeah.
It was a great. I remember Mum and Dad drove us down to Melbourne once, and I just remember listening to Cocktail on repeat on the Walkman. As a young fella. So I do remember. I do remember most of those.
Kokomo
things.
was number 1 for like 30 weeks or something stupid. And I remember like Rage was on in the morning on Saturday.
That and the Travelling Wilburys. They were two very big on high rotation.
Big O, yeah.
But I had 2 older brothers, and so
you were cultured by them.
They were into The Cure and R.E.M. That was a bit too sort of highbrow for me. I wanted something a bit more lively.
I was just talking to a mate the other day. Like we'd sit in the car, and like where you should be, trying to get with women, right? But there was 5 dudes sitting in the car listening to Rage Against the Machine.
Yes.
And so it was like killing the name off. And we were just like headbanging and like just winding that battery down.
But that would have been way more fun than hanging out with those girls at the time, or trying to, speaking awkwardly to a lady. I have fond memories of listening to a lot of really good loud music. And,
crazy. Yeah. But I remember like my first album my mate bought for my birthday was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and I still rate that as one of the best albums I've ever heard. And we scratched it to death. death.
Yes.
You had to go buy another one.
Yes.
Yeah. It was total. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, mate. And how we consume music now is sort of different, isn't it? Like I remember you'd get the CD out and you'd go through the
album
liner notes and the album art, and and I was always a big Tool fan, and so Tool would always do these amazing sort of artistic bits, and that was.
Have you ever been to a Tool concert?
Lots.
So how do you dance to Tool?
You don't. You don't, mate.
I don't remember, it was like a lane dance.
My beautiful wife. We were in Belgium.
Yeah.
And we were living in Edinburgh at the time, and we'd followed Tool to Belgium to watch them play. They played a gig with Mastodon, and it was the most amazing time to be alive to go and see them. It was like 2006, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Chrissy, my wife, she sort of, we were sitting and we just bought seats, and so we were in this seated area, and then they had this huge big wire fence to get down to the floor. And as soon as the lights went down, Chrissy's just got up out of a chair and she sprinted and jumped the fence and looked at me like, what are you doing, mate?
You weren't expecting that.
No, I wasn't. And I just remember thinking, oh, man, she's the one for me. Like, so I ran and probably clumsily got over the fence. So we went down onto the floor. But, to answer your question, you don't dance to Tool. No. You just listen and enjoy.
So these 11/8 beats, time signatures.
Yeah, mate.
But to me, they are a band that, like a canvas, if you were to paint Tool,
yes,
you would come up with the most extraordinary pictures. Because there is something like Danny Carey is the drummer. They're all they all think in between the beat. They're not thinking on the beat.
Yes,
and I remember one of their songs, I think it was Invincible.
Yeah.
They actually threw in a 4/4 beat, and you were like, oh my! And it even blew your head off how good it was, because they don't play like that.
No, that's it, mate. Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? And look, to be honest, I could probably do like a whole podcast on Tool. I love them so much, but music it's one of those things where it makes you think and it makes you feel a certain way. And I love putting on a song and finding a memory within the song, and it takes me back to so when I hear a particular Tool song, and I still remember the song it was that where I see Chrissy jump in the fence,
time and place, and that's when you fell in love with her. That was it. I'm married this girl.
Yeah, I think I was already in love, but that was the one that really just sold the deal.
And you can see it in slow motion in your head too.
I can.
Did she tell you she's going to jump the fence, or she just did it?
No, she just did it.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think that's why I liked it, because I was like, okay,
she's probably 30 kilos lighter too, isn't she? Like
30.
She's probably nimble.
I think she'd be a lot more than 30 lighter than me, mate. So yes, it was definitely a different scenario. Her going over than me going over. As I said, I was worried the whole fence was going to go down, and then they're like, they're locking this Aussie up.
But I'm glad, says I'm in love with you, but fuck, now I got to do that.
That's right. But I'm glad we did it, because that just adds to the story, right?
Oh, for sure.
Memory of being in this place called Vorst National, which was this old opera theatre, watching them play. It was really cool.
Tool. Look, if there is I was crook there for about a year, and I went through a glam rock stage. So I was listening to bloody the Bon Jovis, but also Motley Crue.
The hair metal.
Yeah, or Aerosmith, you name it. Sure. Anyone that was frizzing their hair up.
Yeah.
But that actually
Did you frizz yours?
No, I don't think I had much hair at the time. But it was it just made you feel better.
Yeah.
So it's always something that can get you through something, Yeah. I look back at those days, and you look at those guys on stage, they're having so much fun, but they're putting 110% into everything. So
we saw,
it's infectious.
We saw the Foo Fighters this year, and they played for 3 hours.
Suncorp.
It was amazing. And I'm not a huge Fooey's fan, but it was a great show, and so happy. So he was so joyous to be up there, so grateful. He's had a bit of loss in his life, and it was really excellent to just see them go for 3 hours, barely with a break.
Oh, mate,
amazing.
I think they all learn from each other. If you want to make it to that next level, and Dave Grohl will come out and play until the cows come home, if he's allowed to.
Yeah, that's right.
But generally, he's like, okay, we got to shut up shop because
otherwise I can't do it tomorrow.
Well, that too.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. Have you got one guy or girl that you'd have around a table for dinner with? Because Dave Grohl's my guy. He's just the nicest guy in the world, and he just seems like so genuine and authentic with everything that he does. And then he rocks out we were listening to him as when it comes to drumming.
Yep.
technically he's not the greatest drummer in the world, but I've listened to him over 99% of drummers because he just hits the drums so much harder.
We just did his audio book. We did a little family holiday, and so the kids were sort of, the storyteller was great. It was a really great listen. Yep. And he narrates it, so that just made it even better than reading it, I think. Yep. I don't know. The one person for dinner, it's a really hard one. Like I only say that because, you know, they say you shouldn't meet your heroes. I'd hate to have like Maynard, the lead singer from it turns out to be a wanker. Like that would, so I'd be I think I would go, I would err on the side of caution and go with someone who doesn't.
Fair
so
call.
Dave Grohl's probably a real good one because you know what you're going to get. He's going to cook some ribs with you and he's going to be very, very happy. And you know.
Do you remember was it Some Kind of Monster or something, the Metallica doco?
Yeah.
And it's like, James could only play 2 hours a day. Yeah. Lars is bitching about this. Yes. And like, all I wanted to remember, like, because we all had Metallica on our pencil cases.
Yes, mate.
Right? Yeah. And it's like, I just want to remember them drinking scotch. Yes. And there's good women in the background.
We don't want them being precious.
I had to turn it off. So I don't want to see this side of them. You know,
I did the same. That's why I'd like. I wouldn't want to like even Michael Jordan. I always loved him when I was growing up and playing sport. I just thought he was an incredible, you know, not just an athlete, but just someone who just loved to win so bad. And so I looked up to him a lot, but. I don't know whether I'd like to meet him because I reckon he'd be a bit of an asshole, you know.
You look at all the teammates, so, you know, but in some ways that's what made him, you know, get to where he is.
And would they be where they are without him?
That's right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, spot on. So
bad with everyone.
Yeah, spot on. But yeah, you got to respect the man, for what he's accomplished.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Hey, mate, I hate to have to pull this bloody thing up because everything I know at this stage is starting to get a little bit hot. But I just want to talk to you more about the Edmund Rice Foundation.
Sure.
So for start, like what's coming for the foundation? What's in the pipeline?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we spend a bit of time like trying to raise money here, and raising money is probably the hardest bit in many ways. Because there's no easy way to do it. Yeah. You have to really connect people to a cause. So we've been doing some really exciting things around that fundraising space and how we're going to connect people to the cause. And because we work with a lot of the Eddie Rice schools, we've been working on this thing called a Social Justice Academy, which is trying to get the younger kids to sort of connect with it as a younger person and understand the difference between a have and a have not. You know, working on things like gratitude and just understanding the challenges that other people face around the world. So that's kind of exciting. But look, the work that we do in Africa is super exciting, like super interesting, and you know, you've got to have a level of creativity, and you've got to have a little bit of sort of patience with it as well, because there's a saying that Africa always wins, and it's you know, and it's true, because there's just challenges, mate. There's just challenges, you know, that crop up that you don't expect. So we're very lucky to have an office over there. I've got 7 staff who work for me in Kenya, and mate, they're amazing. So I love the interaction with them. I love working with them, and I love hearing their perspective on it, because at the end of the day, I sit in my office in Brizzy, and you know, who am I to sort of come up with a solution for someone who's living in Kenya? It doesn't seem right to me. So looking forward to sort of building on those relationships. We've got a couple of new projects that I think we'll probably launch, where we're going to go up into East Timor again and do some more work up there. Okay. Because we don't know what that project will actually look like yet. It'll have an education focus. We're just doing some work with some local communities and listening to them and letting them tell us what they want to do.
Nice, mate.
And there's another slum. There's a slum in Africa called Kibera. It's in Kenya. And look, I think that's an area where we would like to focus a bit more energy and have a bit more of a, like at the moment we probably work through three projects, 3 you know, sort of different locations. And I think there's an opportunity for us to maybe think about what are we doing there, and how can we have a bit more of an impact. Like there's 1.2 million people that live in this condensed environment in these little 3x3 metre, you know, shanties out essentially, and you know, access to education, access to sanitation, health, all those things, and awareness, like you and I were talking about gender and, you know, the challenges that women face globally, but in Africa, like being safe, like you can't progress as a human, in my opinion. Like you can't actually develop as a human. You can't learn, you can't love, you can't do all those things unless you're safe first.
Yes.
So creating a safe environment is pretty important. So I don't know whether that's exciting, but it excites me, yeah.
We've never had to live in fear, really, have we?
No, that's it, mate. It's, again, like that's that gratitude component, isn't it? You just go,
for sure.
I can lock my door, I can, I can have my groodle outside or bark when someone comes. So I think that safety component, like it's got to be the first bit.
Yeah. As you said, just throwing money at things it's finding the root cause of things, and then starting from the ground up again, and
that's right, mate. And letting people own it, letting people find that that their own solution to that. So that sort of localized. Sort of locally led stuff's really important to us.
Nice, mate. No, look, mate, if people want to jump on and check out the Rice Foundation, where do they head?
So it's erf.org.au, and we're on social media and that sort of stuff. We try and post stories of impact up there so that people can get a sense for what we're doing. But yeah.
Bren, I appreciate you, mate, so much for everything that you're doing, and I'm so glad that you sent me a message, because it's just everything that you're doing. You haven't changed a bit, mate. The creativity, the smile, the bloody energy that you exude.
Thanks, mate.
If there was a million Brens out there, mate, the world would be a better place.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, cheers. Good to see you too.
Mate.
Great to see you.
Always great, mate. To end the sesh, we always do. I should have done that to start the sesh. I totally forgot. We got into the conversation, but if you just add a little,
it's bloody hot enough.
It's good. Just a ladle of water, mate, to wrap things up. But go check out the Rice Foundation page and get on board, because Bren's doing some fantastic things around the world to help educate people and also create awareness for what's going on. So, mate, thank you so much for joining us in the sauna today.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Guys, don't forget to share, like, and follow for more episodes. And we'll see you in the sauna for the next one.